Hello all my beautiful sisters from those other misters, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to get real with you about my makeup collection. I'm going to show you eyeshadow palettes that I own. Some I have purchased, some I've received in PR, some have been gifted to me that I've never used. Now I was doing my makeup inventory, beauty inventory, because in 2020 I want to really focus on sort of downsizing even more. I did a little bit this year and I'm hoping to continue that in 2020, and for me it's a process. It's not just a matter of chuck out 90% of what you've got. No, that's not me. I love makeup. I absolutely love makeup. It's like my thing. And I think everyone has a thing. Some people like shoes. Some people like luxury bags. Some people buy clothing. Some people like cars or tech, or everyone's got a thing that they're into. And for me, it's makeup. So I will never have a small makeup collection. I'm never going to be a makeup minimalist. I'm probably going to be like a 90-year-old great-grandmother, fingers crossed, with Alex drawers full of makeup. Hopefully not as much as I've got now, because I do feel like my collection is, it's too big. It is too big. And this year, in 2019, I got to basically take my makeup collection out of my bedroom and put it in this sort of studio space. And I've really been able to see everything I've got. And I do find that it's quite overwhelming, and there's a lot of things that I can't use. I don't get around to it. And that's what this is about. It's mainly focusing on, or only focusing on, eyeshadow palettes. And I thought this would be a good little video to do, because on Thursday I'm going to be publishing what is going to be the intro of my 2020 eyeshadow project of sorts. It's a way for me to sort of refamiliarize myself with my eyeshadow collection, get use out of it, and hopefully find products that I'm comfortable with decluttering. I have tried to declutter my eyeshadow palette collection this year. I did a little bit, but I actually find it really difficult, because eyeshadow palettes are if I was to choose a favorite category from makeup, it would be eyeshadow palettes. And because I have so many of them, I find them really difficult to use them all, obviously, and it makes it difficult for me to declutter them, because I feel like I want to use them more. I want to know, do I love this palette, or do I have something similar that I can I can live without it? And in that is going to be the case with a lot of my eyeshadow palettes, but I feel like I haven't used them enough to discover that about, you know, my palettes. So this is sort of a precursor to sorting my shit out with my eyeshadow palettes in 2020. So I'm just going to start with the smallest things that I've got on top. I have two here from Ulta 3. Now Ulta 3 is an Aussie brand. These were sent in PR. I believe I was actually sent five or six of these palettes. They released this year, and I decluttered all but two, because these were the two color stories that I was most interested in. So the reason I kept these is because I like to stay up to date with what the drugstore eyeshadow formula is like. The last time I tried Ulta 3 eyeshadows, I think it was back in 2018. So I kept these because I thought, oh yeah, they'll be good, you know, good color stories for me. That's the type of eyeshadows I like to wear. And it'll be good to see what their formula is like. Never got around to trying them. Colourpop. All right. Baby Got Peach is PR, and Orange You Glad and Uh Huh Honey were my own purchases. So these two did come in PR. So I got to see them and swatch them and all that stuff, but Kat held on to them, and I was like, yeah, I need to own them. And I was making a Colourpop order, and I think there might have been a sale on, maybe. Oh, my cats are fighting. And I grabbed these two. I took home Baby Got Peach because I think the color story is gorgeous. And again, I just never got around to trying them. And I think now is probably a good time to mention why I don't get around to trying them, because I'll have like a certain amount of makeup come into my life every month, and I'll start to focus on certain things. And I like to use, oh, my cats are, they're going off. I like to use things for a while to like get feelings about them, and then I move on to the next thing. But when you've got like 3 or 4 or 5 palettes come into your life in a month, like, I can never get to them all. Sugarpill Little Twin Stars palette. So this also came through PR, through Beauty News, and I took it home because it's cute as hell. But look, I will say, when I look at this, I'm like, that's not a fucking color. Words. That is not a wearable color story, in my opinion. I'm like, there's one matte, one like sort of minty turquoise, pale turquoise shade, and the rest are shimmers or metallics. Like, what the fuck am I meant to do with this? Why have I kept this? I don't know, because it's cute. Like, it, and palettes, it's so dumb. I also heard that the formula of this is bad. I should declutter this. Declutter it. I'm putting it in the declutter drawer now. Sigma Warm Neutrals Volume 2. Also PR. Now, I have swatched Rogue because it's red. You know me and my reds. I do love them, but I haven't actually put it on my face. I do like the color story though. I like, this is my jam, so I don't know why I haven't tried it. And I use the Sigma Enchanted palette. Is it Enchanted? I think it's the Sigma Enchanted palette that came out earlier this year, and I really like that, so I'm assuming I'm gonna like the formula of this. I don't know though, because I haven't tried it. Oh god, Illamasqua. This is the eyeshadow palette for the Look Fantastic Advent Calendar. I've had this, god, when did I get it? 2017? Was it Christmas 2017? Yeah, I think it was. And I haven't used it. Why haven't I used it? I like the colors, and I think it's a cool little quad. I need to get rid of this too, don't I? I've got shades like, okay, we're doing it. Good. Actually, I'm glad I filmed this video. I feel like people are going to watch this and be fucking judging me hard, but look, this is real life for some people. Pat McGrath. Okay, so this is a Mthrship Subversive La Vie en Rose. Now, in January, Sephora Australia had a 50% off selected items sale, and you would use a code to get the 50% off. And it was discovered that the code actually worked on all products store-wide. And Kat and I attempted to make some orders for Pat McGrath palettes because we were curious and wanted to try them. We had tried one Pat McGrath palette, and neither of us were really impressed. We felt like there was a lot of hype behind like the formula. And when we did our reviews, there was a lot of people like, no, you're so wrong, it's amazing. So we were like, okay, well, maybe it's just that palette, so fuck it, let's get some more Pat McGrath palettes 50% off. And Sephora honored the codes, which was good, and I ended up with, I think, 4 of these little Mthrship palettes and 2 of the large ones. And I never got around to using La Vie en Rose. Never. It's still untouched. This purple shade, it looks lumpy. I don't know why it's doing that. I don't really like the look of that, but yeah, never used it. I will say that, like, purple Raine shade, it's pretty fucking cool. Oh my god, I have another Colourpop thing. I believe I have even more Colourpop things, but they're big, so I've got like a pile on my desk and it's kind of difficult to get at things. This is a purchase that I made myself. It's the Whatever palette from Colourpop. I bought this because I love the color story and I never used it. I don't really have an excuse other than I've got too many eyeshadow palettes and not enough faces to fucking apply the eyeshadow to. Tarte Tartelette palette. I've had this one for a long time too. Why haven't I used this? I freaking love these shades. They look awesome. These sort of like almost gray toned shades, I adore them. I think they're a really, really fun play on like browns and nudes and mauves. I gotta play with that. I have to. Zoeva Offline palette. Now, I never used this. It came in like one of those beauty boxes, and I haven't used it, and I feel like I don't need to use this. I do really want to try this shade, but I'm going to put it in the declutter box. That's 3 down. Well done me. Okay. Anastasia Beverly Hills. I have 3 palettes. So I have Norvina, which I didn't... I have this like really upsets me. I am pretty sure that I got this. Did I get it in Black Friday sales 2018 maybe? I can't actually remember. It's been that long. I've never used it. I have swatched Passion, and you know why I've swatched Passion, because it's like on the reddish spectrum. But I've never used this, for God's sake. And the other day I was at Sephora and I was looking at the Jackie Aina palette and the Carly Bible palette, and I was swatching them next to each other and like mixing shades together and all this jazz. And I was like, ooh, I do want them. But I'm not allowed to buy them until I've started using, or until I've used at least all of my fucking Anastasia Beverly Hills palettes. Another one is the Alyssa Edwards and then Riviera. So Alyssa Edwards it's a Brights palette. There are some shades in there that I'm like drawn to and I want to put on my eyes. Like I'd do it right now, but I've only got 2 eyes and I've already got the makeup on. Yeah, oh God, I don't know how this has happened. How did it get so out of control? And then there's Riviera. Again, it's a, fairly colorful palette. I really like Anastasia Beverly Hills formula. I like their eyeshadows. I often really like their color stories. And that's why I buy them, because I genuinely enjoy the products. But when you have 3 that you've never dipped into, that's a problem. Luna Beauty Life's a Drag palette. So this came in PR and I have snatched. You know why? It's red. So I just... What is that? Is that black eyeshadow or is that something else? Okay, that's interesting. Beat, which is this shade. Let me see if I can do this. Okay, so I don't know if you can see, but around like the edge of the pan, so down here and up there, there's some little like dark dots, and I think there might be some over here in Legendary as well, sort of along this edge. And I took my spatula to them because I thought maybe it was just like black eyeshadow, but they're hard. They are hard. I'm going to take that to Kat's and I think we will dig into it. Take a look, see what's inside. Alright, there's another one that's going to be donated to a different cause. So I discovered Coloured Raine this year. I knew about them prior to this year, but I used their formula for the first time this year and I fell head over heels in love. Their formula is just outstanding. I adore it. and I wanted more palettes. So I started with the Queen of Hearts palette, and I was like, I'm gonna buy more palettes from Coloured Raine. And then they had a sale and it applied to their palettes, and I was like, looks like I'm getting all of their palettes. So I did, and the ones that I'm left with that I haven't used yet are Smoke Show and Cheers to the Beauty. Cheers to the Beauty is really pretty. I think the reason that I haven't dug into this one and also Smoke Show was because I was using the palettes so extensively to, like, you know, learn about them, their colors, what I could do with them, all that stuff. And it just got to the point where I'd been playing with them for so long, something new came in that I had to focus on, and everything got pushed to the wayside, and these guys just didn't quite get in there with being used, but would not get rid of. Can't make me. Oh my gosh. Okay, I finally managed to get to the Colourpop palette. Here we go. This is shameful. This is not okay. So this is a DIY palette that I created through Colourpop. So I went on their like build your own palette page, and I chose these colors specifically for me, and it's gorgeous. I adore it. I did expect it to be a bit more red toned, but you know, this is what I ended up with, and I don't hate it. This is a really beautiful color story for me. And then I never used it. I literally chose these colors specifically for myself and then never used it. I don't know. I don't know. Melt Cosmetics. This is 27 palette. So Kat bought me the 27 palette for my birthday last year, I believe. And I did use that, but then this year we discovered some issues with our Melt eyeshadows, and Melt replaced the palette. So since I got it, and it's been quite a few months now, I've not used it, although it's really pretty and I should play with it. It's very nice. I just haven't picked it up because too many palettes. I have two palettes here from Revolution. I've got the Forever Flawless Fire palette. So this was something that I purchased, and okay. The reason I purchased this was because Kat and I needed to make an order on Beauty Bay for something for a beauty news episode, and to get free shipping we chucked in some extra items. And then it just sat at the wayside and I never used it because it's not a priority. When I first saw this in Beauty News and we talked about it, I was like, I really like that palette. I would potentially be interested in buying that. However, I went months and months and months without buying it and living my life perfectly fine. But I do want to know what their like red and orange formula is like. So I'll hold on to it. This guy, okay, this is the Fortune Favours the Brave palette by British beauty blogger. I love the look of this. And every time I see this in my drawer, I think, oh, I want to use that. That looks really pretty. And I've never gotten around to it. These small pans, if every single one of my eyeshadow palettes were tiny little pans like this, I wouldn't feel so bad about my collection. Unfortunately, they're not. Some of them are, you know, 3, 4, 5, 6 times the size of this, but I think this is a really, really clever little palette. Lots of sort of, you know, it's a little bit grungy with its tones, but then with the colors, you've got like creams and browns, there's mauves and purples, there's blues, greens. I really enjoy this. I want to play with it. Sometimes I think to myself, pull out the palettes that you want to play with and leave them on your desk so they're in your line of sight. I would have a pile of palettes like 100 stacked high. It's so difficult. I need a methodical method of going through them. Lorac, this is a Mega Pro 4. I can't believe I haven't used this. I'm so disappointed in myself. And I actually really like Lorac eyeshadows too. I have a palette. Hang on, let me get it. So I have this one. Is this the first one? I'm not sure. Maybe it's the second one. I have Pan in this palette. A lot of other colors not touched. But I have Pan in the black eyeshadow, for Christ's sake. Like, I really like Lorac's formula. Some people say it's a bit too powdery. I don't really mind that. But I think their formula is easy to use. It's got good pigmentation. And the pans aren't too big. And last, but certainly not least, because they're the biggest fucking palettes that I own, Morphe. Christ almighty. So I've got the 39S here, which is like a purple and brown and pink and looks like this. This was a recent PR item. We went to a Mecca. It was a launch party for Morphe being stocked in Mecca, and they gave us this, and they also gave us the James Charles palette. Neither of them have been used, and I just don't think I'm ever going to get around to using them. I actually have a friend who expressed interest in the James Charles palette, and I think if it was being given to her for free, she might even be more interested. So I'm going to ask if she wants it, and I'm also going to get rid of this. I reorganized my eyeshadow palettes, was it not last month, maybe the month before? I had some videos, and these are just they're too big. They are too big. Like, I'm just so done with it. I have the 35, wait, let me find what it is. No, it's not the one I'm thinking of. The 39A is the other, like, gigantic one that I'm thinking of. I really like this. I wonder if I can depot this, because then I can get rid of the blues and the greens, and I can keep the browns and the reds, because I bought this for the browns and the reds. Like this shade here, and by the way, I've actually used this palette. Not a lot, but a lot for me. So if you have depotted a Morphe palette, let me know your tips and tricks. Otherwise, I might just test it out on some of the blues and greens that I'm willing to sacrifice to the makeup gods. But yeah, I just look at how big they are. It's unbelievable. They're the size of my MacBook. Like, it's absurd. I just don't even, I can't understand it. And I want to, like, I want to downsize. I'm going to get rid of the purple one. I'm never going to use it. And I'm going to check with my friend if she would like the James Charles one, because if she will like it, I know she's going to appreciate it a lot more than I ever would. For me, it's just going to sit in my drawer, and I might swatch the red shades once in a lifetime. And this guy's being depotted, and the rest that I don't want being decluttered. I love my eyeshadow palette collection. Like, I love it so much. But like I said, I have so many, and I can't possibly use them all. And personally, I think it's okay to have a large makeup collection if that's your thing. Like, if that's what makes you happy, then do it. But I know that I have way too many eyeshadow palettes. I'm just looking at my inventory sheet. I have 206 eyeshadow palettes, but that includes like the James Charles and the other ones that I've just decluttered. I have to take them off the list. So it gives you an idea of, like, yes, I have too much. But I think the hard part for me is not being familiar with my collection, which makes decluttering it really, really difficult. When I sit down and I look at my eyeshadow palettes, I'm so overwhelmed by everything that I want to try, things that I haven't even tried yet, and I don't know where to start. And I think the best thing for me to do is to start by trying to use some of the palettes. So that's why I'm going to do a project in 2020, and I'm going to try to not bring palettes into my stash, and if I do, only keep the ones that I really love. Okay, so I am left with 20 palettes there that I haven't used. I haven't included any of the ones that I decluttered because they are not staying in my collection. And also, I haven't included in this video some palettes that have come into my life in the last month. I'm giving myself a break on them. I'm slowly getting through them. I also just had a whole bunch of Nabla palettes sent to me, so that's overwhelming. But I'm not including them because I'm trying to be kind to myself. I feel like I'm really calling myself out in this video. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. And if you also want to share some products that you have purchased or received and never used, feel free to do so in the comments. There will be no judgment from me. You can clearly see the predicament I've got myself into. But I'm going to work on that in 2020, and I'm actually really excited to do that, to potentially get my collection a little bit under control, because I feel like I did it well with a lot of other areas of my collection in 2019. I just haven't got the handle on the eyeshadow palettes yet. Alright guys, I will see you in the next one. Bye.